All right, I'm Sean Hackbarth. I'm the online communications advisor for the Senate Republican Conference. It's an office that does a lot of support services for other Senate Republicans. I help various Republican offices better use online tools like YouTube and Twitter and helping them reach out to bloggers and things like that. Just trying to give them a hand when they need to so they can better engage the online community.
What's been the feedback so far from people online? Do you feel you can reach them effectively? Are they participating in the various ways that you're reaching out?
Yeah, they are. I mean, once you give them the opportunity and a place for them to come in and participate and engage, I think they're willing to. You just got to find ways through video or various other means like Twitter and Facebook, and you have to go out and try, and you got to go to where the audience is. Many times, I mean, they're not going to necessarily come to a Senate office website. Sometimes it's not as interactive as they're used to. So you got to go find where where the constituents are, and you can talk to them and just try to get a conversation going. Let them know that that they're listening, that the senator is listening, that their staff is listening, and so I think that there's definitely progress being made.
What's been the response from the Senate offices that you've worked with? Are they generally prioritizing this type of online communication?
Oh, I think they certainly are now. They saw the effect of President Obama's election and the way that their online component really got people excited and got them to do a lot of different things. I mean, you can't ignore the fact that a candidate or anyone put together organically a 13 million person email list. It's that number is really, it just makes people wonder. It's like, yeah, I think this is something we have to really put some effort into to improve and to reach out and starting to realize that, yeah, this is a place where people online and various sites that's where people are engaging, that's where people are talking about the issues that senators are dealing with day in and day out. And so if they want to do a better job reaching out to those constituents and those voters, they've got to find ways to engage them. I mean, tell them what's going on, what they're working on, as well as find another way to get important feedback.
What do you think is the obstacle that many offices have to get over? We talked about resource allocation. Is that what it is, or is it just general interest? Because a lot of offices aren't on Twitter, aren't using their YouTube feed. What do you identify?
I think the biggest one is resources. I mean, from my experience, I've been on the Capitol Hill working for about a little over 6 months, and these staffers work extremely hard all the time, and a lot of people are dealing with reporters every day. If they're doing with various constituents issues, I mean, emails or even just letters and things like that. And then now on top of it, it's like here's an online component they have to deal with. So they've got to find ways that they can incorporate the online part into their workflow, so they have time to actually do it effectively. And I think that's a challenge that every office is going to have to deal with. That's what I think is the biggest ones. Like what is the reason? I mean, okay, if an office starts using Twitter, does that mean is that going to be more useful to them than resources taken with maybe reaching out more, doing more pitching to reporters or something like that? So it's a balancing act of how effective a certain tool may be in some situations, and so I think the resources constraint is the biggest challenge. But I think it can be done. You just gotta realize. I mean, there's many ways to leverage a lot of these tools. I mean, something as simple as a video clip to a constituent or to a set of reporters or whatever that can be put on YouTube, and then you can see what the feedback is from that in the comments. So there's many ways you can try to figure out how to fit the new online component into the overall workflow.
Where do you see this heading? What are the new hip tools that are out?
Yeah. Oh, the thing is, I mean, even before Oprah got on Twitter, I think a lot of senators are seeing Twitter. It's a little different than a blog because it's only 140 characters. So maybe it's just something that, okay, I just got something quick to say. As I talked to someone here today about it, like maybe that constraint of 140 characters forces the user to be more authentic.
Now,
more
do you
real.
see more senators using it themselves personally, or their staffs having control of it?
I'm actually seeing, I think it's about half and half. I mean, you see some really interesting ones like Senator Grassley from Iowa and Twitters himself. I think he does it from his cell phone instead of, I don't know if he has a BlackBerry, but whatever. You can tell. It's kind of, it is interesting. Senator McCain Twitters. How exactly the process is for some of those, I don't know, but it's a little bit of both. Some senators are Twittering themselves. Some are doing a little bit of using it to get some. I mean, they may have some staff person doing it for them, but it's still, you can kind of sense it's the attitude and the personality of the senator, I think, for the most part. But a lot of it, like I said, it's got to do with the constraints of a senator itself. I mean, really, I mean, the rules, Senate rules are you can't have a BlackBerry and do stuff like that on the Senate floor. So don't expect things like that.
Can you talk a little bit about the Senate rules? Because I guess there was controversy in the past about what governs the use of Web 2.0. What is the current status of that?
The current status right now is Senate offices have the ability to use third-party tools. It used to be that the previous rule was they wanted, if an office made content or something like that, it had to be hosted on a Senate server. So some offices were playing around with that and trying and using stuff like YouTube anyway before that, but no one really made a big deal about it. But the Rules Committee finally made an official change.
When was that?
I think December
Okay.
or early this year. Enough that I helped with YouTube and people on the Democratic side. We helped launch this Senate Hub and trying to get as many senators having their own branded channels with their own content. So that's how that's processed. And I've seen other tools being used, not only just Twitter, but there's some Senator Collins and Senator Brownback have started blogs on Blogspot to communicate there. They're doing sort of like, they're putting some press releases and things like that and posting their videos. So they're using Blogspot but right now it's open-ended in that offices can go and use a tool and experiment with it, and if it becomes, for whatever reason, becomes a problem, then a complaint. If someone came with a complaint, then the Rules Committee would start to think about, like, I don't know if that's appropriate. But right now it is more of it's wide. It's definitely opened up a lot of possibilities, a lot of opportunities for offices to experiment. They can do. I see some Senator DeMint's office is using some tool called Podbean, I think it is, for podcasting. So there's a lot more opportunity now for offices to find it. If they find a tool that looks really interesting, they can play with it.
And do you see Web 2.0 and social media changing the way that communication is done? It's just not telling constituent stuff, but also listening.
Yeah, I think it is. I think a lot of there's going to be a really interesting part that's going to happen with the not just the communication from the office, but the constituents coming back. I think we're going to see a point that there's going to be constituents who who have a problem, maybe simply their Social Security check didn't come in, and they wrote the letter and called, and they didn't think they were going to, for some reason they didn't get an answer. They're going to go to a senator's YouTube page and leave a comment. And so there's going to be some point that constituent services will have to look through comments and make sure that those questions are answered. So I think it's going to even change the way offices deal with constituents.
Great. Any other giant themes I'm missing as far as what is your daily routine like?
My daily routine, it's quite busy. I mean, I'm working with other Senate Republicans trying to craft our message and trying to engage and figure out the best way we can advance our ideas in the media on various levels. I mean, there are press secretaries who deal primarily with reporters. I deal primarily with bloggers and online activists, and we're starting to see a little difference between. I mean, it's a little molding. Like, it used to be that maybe there were kind of various coalitions that they were just coalitions, and you actually had to go and maybe have meetings and stuff like that. But now it's all going online. So you have grassroots. I mean, people who deal with the grassroots and even various coalition groups. It's starting to have a really more important online component because these groups are building their own social networks through Ning or various other or email lists, and so we're all starting to realize that if you want to get a message out or just get feedback or some kind of reaction, online is it's the fastest way, most efficient. So it's definitely it's a constant learning process. We're all trying to figure out what's the best way. How I think the way the Republicans and conservatives are use the internet, I think it's going to be a little different than how the left is, and so you got to figure out exactly
In what ways is that? I mean, we've seen Twitter has kind of been
it's been by the right.
has
Yeah, I think
stronghold.
it's the feeling, the sense is that the right doesn't. They all like to do their independent thing a little more. As in, there aren't these giant blogs or sites like the Daily Kos and Huffington Post and things like that. It's just everybody wants to have their own thing. I mean, it's just kind of maybe it's a personality trait. I don't know. Maybe it's just something with the philosophy they believe in. I don't know. I mean, but I think there's something to that, and so it takes a little bit more. You have to find different ways of just trying to get everyone together so that we're all on the same page.
Great. Thanks so much for the time.
Thank you.